Hey guys, Ice with the Aussies here with yet another playoff series in this first round. This time we're off to the west and we've got the Vegas Golden Knights versus the Winnipeg Jets. Now this is probably not as blockbusterish as some of the others, but I still think this is going to be a really interesting series. Jaden and I have a probably differing opinions on who's going to get the job done and how they're going to get it done. But I think we still think it's going to be a good series. Aiden, if you want to get us started with some of the stats.
Yeah, well, we do have differing opinions how this can go. Vegas, obviously, at the top, 111 points, and Jets clinching that wild card two spot, so 95 points, going down to the last few games against Calgary and Nashville. So, um, basically, Jets has basically been playing playoff hockey going into this, and Vegas has got to kick it in gear. In regards to the series, three games. Vegas won all three. One of them went to OT, and so Vegas seemed to have their card. In regards to their special teams, pretty much similar on the power play. Penalty kill, Vegas is very underwhelming, whereas it seems that Jets do have a somewhat okay penalty kill. Goals for, somewhat similar. A little bit more goals for Vegas and goals against per game, pretty much dead on. So there's not too much to look at there. You're probably just more concerned about your penalty kill if you're Vegas. In regards to points for the teams, top five best players, my concern is you're looking at Jets and their plus minus on their side. Their best player, Kyle Connor, in regards to points, -11. The second best, just a 2, and then Mark Scheifele, -16. So nothing to boast about in their plus minus, where you look on the other side with Vegas, it's 26, 12 to 11, 13. So very high there. And Jack Eichel only played 67 games. It is Jack Eichel's also first playoffs, I believe, isn't it?
Yep.
Um,
Yep, he's
so
finally made the playoffs.
yeah, since 2015 and being in juniors, it's pretty much his first time in the finals. So we'll see what he can do, if he turns it on or if he's a no-show, if he's a playoff player or not. And yeah, long time coming for him. I think it's going to be an interesting series. I can definitely understand your Jets call at 4-2. I just think Knights are just going to be too strong. I think they'll take this one somewhat quite easily. I know there's a Hellebuck factor, and you got the goaltending situation on Vegas to worry about, but yeah, I think Vegas win this somewhat comfortably 4-1.
Yeah, I could see it. I can definitely see Vegas getting on top, especially with the way Jets have been playing towards the back end of the year. I think for me, I'm just holding out hope that the Jets can get back to some of the top-notch hockey they were playing early through even to up to what 60 odd games. They were still playing some really good hockey. Like they won a lot of games, early on in the year, which really set them up. They had one of the worst records at one point. Um, you know, going into the back end of this season, which almost saw them miss out on the playoffs. But all of those wins that they had banked early on, because they only had the three overtime losses. So, they had 46 wins, which you look at it, they had eight more wins than Calgary, who finished 2 points behind them. So yeah, I think Winnipeg have shown that they can be a phenomenal side. They've got one of the best goaltenders in the league, when he's on as well. I think they've got a tremendous amount of firepower. And yeah, I just question Vegas's goaltending situation against the firepower that the Jets have. I think overall, where the Knights probably hold in good stead is they've got a pretty even team game, right? All four lines contribute. Their three lines in defense and can all be trusted on the ice. It's not like you've got to overplay any of your big name players. And that's probably that'll hold them in good stead, knowing that they can trust every player they put out on that ice. Um, Jets possibly not as much, and that's potentially where they get undone. But I just like the firepower the Jets have. I think Hellebuck's going to rock up in this playoffs, and he's going to um, make it really troublesome for the Knights in the long run.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Looking at their save percentages, though, Thompson and Hill both with 915s. I think it's Brisswa with .927 and Quickett with a 901. So they got four goalies. And then basically on the other side, you just got Hellebuck with a 920, and then Riddick, who only played a handful of games, a 901. So it really is like a basically they've got a tandem to go to in regards to Vegas, whereas it's basically riding Hellebuck. It's so Hellebuck gets injured, I think no matter what, Jets' playoff hopes are done. But if he
Oh
stays
yeah,
healthy,
hundred
he can
percent.
carry. He can carry. That's the thing when you have a top five goalie in the league and possibly the world. He is really just needs that team in front of him, that defense in front of him, that the Jets seem to lack 90% of the time. And I'm not too sure. I'm convinced that that is solved going into this. They clinched the playoff spot, but I feel like it also Calgary outdid themselves doing that, and even Nashville had a run at it as well for a bit there. So I'm not fully convinced with the Jets. The other thing with these two teams though, they have qualified for the playoffs 5 of the last 6 seasons. So these teams are playoff experienced. Oh, the Vegas Golden Knights did miss out on last year, of course, but that is going to take somewhat of a factor as both these teams do have playoff experience, so they shouldn't have any of that jitters. Just besides some of the youngsters or newcomers like Jack Eichel and maybe some of the goaltending. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I still think it's going to be a really interesting series. I can see your 4-1. This is probably one of the series I could see being a sweep as well. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think if one team gets off to a good start, gets on top of the other team early, it could be all over for the other team. Um, Golden Knights are a team that always seem to be in games, but they can go on little runs where they drop a few games in a row that they probably shouldn't. Um, and obviously we've seen what the Jets have done when towards the end of the year where they just could not win a game to save their life. So yeah, I think if you're going to see a sweep in this first round, this is definitely the series that could
Yeah,
provide it.
this would be my favorite.
Um, Mm, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Hellebuck's one hell of a goaltender, and I just think he's going to show up. I'm I may and probably will get proven wrong. The Jets
Mm.
let me down all the time, right? Like I predict that they're not going to make the playoffs. I think it's going to be Calgary, and they turn it on. They
And now that
decide
now
to
that you're rooting for them, they're gonna lose, and you're the Jets curse.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just like, do you know what, Jets? Fine. You did well. You went into the playoffs. I'll give you that. So do you know what? I'm going to back you. And then they're going to go, give me the finger and say, screw you. We're getting swept.
Yeah. I,
Uh,
I I have a hunch. Even if Hellebuck, which I reckon he will, he shows up in playoffs. I don't think it matters. I think Knights still come away with it. I just
be
don't think.
cool.
I just don't think that defense there. Yeah, it's just a little bit lacking. Vegas just have a little bit more firepower. It may come down to their penalty kill though. It has needed some sort of improvement. Um, and it may come down to that. But yeah. Besides that, I think that's it for me there.
Yeah, no, that's it for me. I think, yeah, it's going to be an interesting series. I don't think it's going to be I still think the games are going to be fun to watch. It's still going to be a pretty interesting series. I don't think it's going to be anything blockbuster. I could see a couple of blowout games happening as well. Um, yeah, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Alrighty. Like the video, comment below on what you think the series will do. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this and more coverage of the playoffs going forward. And yeah, leave a comment below what you think of this series. Obviously, we got differing opinions on who's going to come out on top. So yeah, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out on top, and then yeah, back me or back Nick. And if you back Nick, you're wrong. But yeah, all right. We'll see you guys for another.
This this bloke, this
but
bloke.
but yeah,
Probably right though. Probably
but yeah, the odds are in my favor, forever in my favor. But yeah,
for
we'll leave it
sure.
there, and we'll see you guys for another video sometime soon. Till then, bye.
Take take care, guys. Take care.